High Counselor Zixtal stood before the massive quantum display, their crystalline form refracting light across the Galactic Council's observation chamber. The display showed a small blue planet, seemingly unremarkable among the millions of worlds under the Council's watch. Yet something about this world, Earth, had been keeping the ancient being awake through multiple lunar cycles. "Show me the progression again," Zixtal commanded. The AI complied, displaying a time-lapse of human technological development over the past 3 centuries. The pattern was wrong. Every other species followed predictable advancement curves, military technology surging ahead during conflicts, then social and medical advances during peace. But humans, their progress appeared almost orchestrated, too smooth, too consistent. Most peculiar, observer Renfell noted, their tentacles rippling with concern. They appear to be advancing in all sectors simultaneously, yet their military capacity seems remarkably underdeveloped for their level of achievement. Zixtal's crystalline structure pulsed with unease. That was precisely what had been bothering them. Humans had mastered quantum computing, yet their warships still used primitive chemical propulsion. They had cracked genetic engineering but hadn't developed energy weapons. Every scan, every observation, every diplomatic exchange painted the same picture, a species focused entirely on peaceful development. It was impossible. "Connect me to Ambassador Lanet on Earth," Zixtal ordered. Moments later, the holographic form of their most experienced diplomat materialized. High Counselor Lanet bowed, their silver-scaled skin gleaming. "To what do I owe this honor?" "Your latest report on the humans' response to our technology-sharing initiative." "Elaborate." "Of course, High Counselor. The humans continue to show remarkable enthusiasm for our agricultural and medical technologies. They've already implemented several improvements to our basic designs. However," Lanet paused, their scales shifting color slightly. "Continue," Zixtal prompted. "When we offered military technology exchanges, they seemed almost disinterested. They politely declined, claiming their current defensive capabilities were sufficient for their needs." Zixtal's crystal structure emitted a low hum of concern. No species had ever declined military technology. It defied all known psychological patterns. "Show me their orbital defense network," Zixtal commanded the AI. A detailed scan appeared, showing a sparse collection of primitive satellites and defense platforms. "Now overlay their commercial satellite network." The display lit up with thousands of points of light, communication satellites, weather monitors, research platforms. The density was astronomical, far exceeding any practical need. "High Counselor," Research Director Vexmore interjected, their mechanical appendages clicking nervously. "We've detected something else. The humans' entertainment broadcasts, their fiction, contains an unusually high percentage of scenarios involving conflict with advanced alien civilizations. Preparation through imagination," Zixtal mused. "Computer, analyze human military spending over the last century." The data streamed across the display. Official military budgets had remained consistently low, yet their aerospace research, quantum physics studies, and artificial intelligence development had skyrocketed, all classified under civilian applications. "They're hiding something," Zixtal declared. "No species achieves this level of advancement without military applications. It's not possible." "What are you suggesting, High Counselor?" Renfell asked. "I'm suggesting, observer, that we're not seeing their true capabilities. Every species we've encountered has followed the same pattern. Develop weapons first, ask questions later. The humans are different. They're developing everything else first and hiding their military advancement in plain sight." "But why?" Lanet asked. "The Council guarantees peace. We've maintained galactic stability for millennia." Zixtal's crystal structure darkened. "Perhaps that's precisely why. Computer, show me human historical patterns of warfare." The display filled with battles, strategies, and conflicts spanning thousands of years. One pattern emerged consistently. The most successful human military leaders were those who achieved victory through deception, appearing weak when strong. They're not peaceful, Zixtal realized, their crystalline form pulsing with alarm. They're preparing, have been preparing, possibly since first contact. Every peaceful exchange, every technological trade, every diplomatic mission. They've been studying us, learning our capabilities, while hiding their own. What should we do? Renthal asked, their tentacles writhing with anxiety. Zixtal faced the council members, their crystal structure now pulsing with determined purpose. We must act now while we still can. If humans are indeed hiding advanced military capabilities, every day we wait gives them more time to prepare. We will demand their immediate submission to council authority and technological oversight. If they refuse, the High Counselor turned back to the display of Earth, their crystalline form casting ominous shadows across the chamber. We will have no choice but to eliminate this potential threat to galactic peace, for the good of all species. In the depths of the Himalayan mountains, inside a facility that officially didn't exist, Admiral Sarah Chen received the quantum transmission of the Council's discussion. She allowed herself a small smile as she activated the secure global network. All units, Operation Looking Glass is now active. They took the bait. Prepare for Phase 2. Humanity's trap, centuries in the making, was about to snap shut. The United Nations General Assembly Hall buzzed with controlled chaos as Admiral Chen's quantum feed played on every delegate's secure tablet. Earth's representatives maintained their rehearsed expressions of concern, but beneath the surface, anticipation coursed through the room like an electric current. High Counselor Zixtal's holographic form materialized above the central podium, towering 20 meters tall. The crystalline being's facade pulsed with what the Council species believed to be intimidating colors. No one in the chamber showed any sign of recognizing the exact frequency pattern, one that human quantum physicists had spent decades analyzing for weaknesses. People of Earth, Zixtal's voice resonated through the chamber. Your species has violated the fundamental principles of galactic harmony. Your technological development follows dangerous patterns. Your cultural obsession with conflict threatens the peace we have maintained for millennia. In the secure command center beneath Mount Cheyenne, General Marcus Rodriguez watched the transmission with his senior staff. Right on schedule, he muttered, checking the chronometer. Always so predictable. Back in the UN chamber, Zixtal continued. The Council hereby demands Earth's immediate submission to technological oversight and genetic adjustment protocols. You have 48 standard hours to comply. Refusal will result in your species' reclassification as a terminal threat to galactic stability. Ambassador Elena Torres rose from her seat, the picture of diplomatic concern. High Counselor, surely there must be some misunderstanding. Humanity has always striven to. The time for diplomacy has ended. Zixtal's form flared brightly. Your attempts at deception have failed. We have seen through your facade of peaceful development. As the hologram vanished, leaving the chamber in artificial uproar, Torres touched the quantum communicator disguised as a simple earring. Phase 2 is green. They didn't detect any of our hidden installations during the transmission. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. James Wong smiled as he received Torres's confirmation. The quantum entanglement facility around him hummed with power as he initiated the global defense grid's startup sequence. 50 years of hiding our quantum shielding technology behind experimental marine research about to pay off. In high orbit, Captain Maya Patel watched from her civilian research vessel as the Council's initial war fleet emerged from hyperspace. The ships arranged themselves in perfect formation, exactly as their tactical doctrine demanded. Their energy signatures matched the Council's transmitted specifications down to the decimal. All ships maintain emissions control, she subvocalized through her neural link. Let them think those defense satellites are all we have. Dimensional Pocket Stations, Status Report. Pocket 1. Ready. The response came from a space that, according to every known law of physics, didn't exist. Commander David Chen, no relation to the Admiral. watched through quantum-shifted space as his fleet of ships waited in the artificial dimension humans had discovered decades ago. The Council's sensors would register nothing but background radiation. Around the globe, similar reports flooded in through quantum-encrypted channels. Underground bases, underwater facilities, and orbital platforms hidden in artificial dimensions. Humanity's real military infrastructure, prepared for war. In her office at the Pentagon, Admiral Chen opened a small box on her desk. Inside lay a single object, the first alien artifact ever recovered on Earth, decades before official first contact. The Council had never questioned why humans seemed so prepared for their arrival. Never wondered why Earth's languages already had translations for their terms. Never investigated why human technology seemed to develop in convenient parallel with their own. "Send the response," she ordered. In the UN chamber, Ambassador Torres stood again, activating the quantum transmitter that would reach the Council's fleet. "After careful consideration of your demands," she began, her voice carrying the weight of centuries of preparation, "humanity respectfully declines." Aboard the Council's flagship, Zixtol received the transmission with satisfaction. "They choose extinction. Begin the attack." The Council's ships powered up their weapon systems, their energy signatures blazing across human sensors. In response, Earth's orbital defense platforms began powering up as well, exactly as the Council expected. What they didn't expect was the quantum signal that flashed from Earth's surface, a code buried in what appeared to be routine satellite maintenance chatter. Operation Echo began. In her office, Admiral Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Let's show them what humanity's been hiding for the past century." The trap was set. The Council's forces were committed, and humanity's real capabilities were about to be revealed. All across Earth, in places that didn't officially exist, using technology that shouldn't be possible, human forces prepared to demonstrate why appearances could be deceiving. The Council had maintained peace for 3,000 years by being the most advanced civilization in known space. They were about to learn they weren't anymore. The Council's first strike was textbook perfect, exactly as humanity had expected. Their energy weapons lanced toward Earth's primitive defense platforms, following attack patterns documented in their own military archives. Archives they'd proudly shared during cultural exchanges, never suspecting how thoroughly humans would analyze every detail. Captain Maya Patel watched from her cloaked vessel as the alien beams struck the orbital platforms. The resulting explosions were spectacular and completely harmless. Holographic defense grid performing exactly as designed. She reported through her neural link. "They're buying the light show." On the Council's flagship, High Counselor Zixtel's crystalline form pulsed with satisfaction as Earth's apparent defenses crumbled. Primitive technology, as expected. Begin Phase 2 of the assault. The Council fleet moved forward in perfect formation, their ships arranging themselves for the standard subjugation pattern they'd used successfully for millennia. None of their sensors detected the quantum ripples spreading through space, ripples created by technology they believed impossible. Deep within Pocket Dimension Alpha, Commander David Chen gave the order they'd waited generations to deliver. Operation Echo, Phase 1. All ships, power up quantum matrices. Prepare to show them what humanity's really been working on. The Council fleet had just reached optimal attack position when their sensors detected something impossible. Energy signatures appearing from nowhere, surrounding their formation. Before they could react, space itself seemed to tear open. From dimensional pockets that shouldn't exist, humanity's real fleet emerged. Ships that made the orbital platforms look like children's toys appeared in perfect attack formation. Their design was unlike anything the Council had ever encountered, because humans had engineered them specifically to counter Council technology. By the first light, Zixtel whispered, their crystalline form clouding with disbelief. "Impossible. Their technology level." "Target locked," announced Commander Sarah Martinez from her flagship, the HSS Deception. "All ships, execute Pattern Omega. Let's show them what those civilian research projects were really about. The human fleet opened fire. Instead of the primitive nuclear weapons the Council expected, they launched quantum-shifted gravity bombs, weapons that bypassed shields by attacking through dimensional space. The Council's vaunted defensive systems, calibrated for energy weapons, might as well have been tissue paper. Multiple direct hits, Martins reported, her voice calm despite the historic moment. Their shield frequencies are exactly as our analysis predicted. Not a single variance. The Council fleet attempted to regroup, their ships moving to implement defensive protocols that had served them for thousands of years. But humans had studied those protocols, designed countermeasures, and waited patiently for this moment. They're attempting to call for reinforcements, Paddle reported from her observation post. Quantum communication jamming grid activated. Throughout their space, Council commanders found their supposedly unblockable quantum communications reduced to static. The technology they'd proudly demonstrated during diplomatic exchanges was being used against them with devastating effectiveness. Launch the Phantom drones, Admiral Chen ordered from her command center. Across Earth's surface, what appeared to be civilian satellite control stations activated their true purpose. Thousands of autonomous combat units, disguised as debris and defunct satellites, powered up their stealth systems. The Council fleet found themselves surrounded by weapons platforms that seemed to materialize from empty space. Every evasive maneuver they attempted was countered before they executed it. Their own tactical doctrine turned against them with ruthless efficiency. High Counselor, one of Zixtal's subordinates reported, their crystalline form flickering with panic. They're not just matching our technology, they're exceeding it. These weapons, these tactics, they're designed specifically to counter our systems. Zixtal's form darkened as understanding dawned. All those cultural exchanges, the technology sharing programs, they weren't learning from us. They were studying us, learning our weaknesses. Incoming transmission from Earth, another officer announced. Admiral Chen's hologram appeared on the Council flagship's bridge. Her expression was polite, professional, and utterly devoid of mercy. High Counselor, humanity has spent centuries preparing for this moment. Every technology we shared, every capability we revealed, was carefully chosen to create a specific impression. You saw it exactly what we wanted you to see. But the peace treaties, the cultural exchanges, were opportunities to analyze your capabilities while hiding our own. Did you really think a species that spent its entire history preparing for war would simply abandon that capability? We didn't stop developing military technology. We just got better at hiding it. As if to emphasize her point, another wave of human ships emerged from dimensional pockets, their weapons already charged. This is just our first-line response force, Chen continued. Would you like to see what else we've been hiding? Or would you prefer to reconsider your declaration of war? In the silence that followed, humanity's hidden fleet hung in space like a lethal web, their weapons trained on the Council ships. Centuries of preparation, decades of hidden development, and generations of patient waiting had led to this moment. The Council had maintained peace through superior power for 3,000 years. Now they faced a species that had spent every moment since first contact preparing to challenge that superiority. And this was just the beginning. High Counselor Zixtal watched in stunned silence as tactical displays showed Council reinforcement fleets emerging from hyperspace across the solar system. Under normal circumstances, such a show of force would have ended any conflict immediately. But as the events of the past few hours had demonstrated, nothing about this situation was normal. Reinforcement fleet Gamma reports ready for engagement, a subordinate announced, their crystalline form glowing with renewed confidence. Nearly 1,000 Council warships now surrounded the human homeworld. Surely now. Admiral Chen's hologram smiled. I see your reinforcements have arrived. Right on schedule. That simple statement sent a chill through Zixtal's crystalline structure. Schedule. Did you think we only prepared countermeasures for your initial assault force? Chen's hologram gestured, and new tactical displays appeared throughout the Council flagship. Allow me to demonstrate why patience is humanity's greatest weapon. Deep beneath the Marianas Trench, in a facility shielded from all known forms of detection, Dr. James Wong initiated Quantum Matrix Protocol Omega. All subsig quantum arrays online, he reported. Gravitic interference web activating. The Council fleet commanders noticed it first. Subtle fluctuations in their ship's artificial gravity fields. According to every sensor, nothing was wrong. But throughout their formation, crews began reporting increasing difficulty maintaining position. Unknown gravitational anomalies detected. Council tactical officers reported across the fleet. Source cannot be localized. You're experiencing the effects of our quantum gravity manipulation network, Chen explained. Those civilian oceanographic research stations we've been building for the past 50 years. They're actually nodes in a solar system-wide gravitational control system. As if to demonstrate, hundreds of Council ships suddenly found themselves unable to maintain formation, their carefully planned attack patterns disrupted by invisible forces that defied their understanding of physics. Impossible, Zixtal whispered. This technology, it would take centuries to develop. It did, Chen confirmed. We began developing it the moment we detected your first probe entering our solar system, long before official first contact. Every scientific breakthrough we shared with you was carefully chosen to hide our real progress. High in the asteroid belt, Commander Lisa Zhao gave the order her team had waited decades to execute. Operation Starforge active. All mining facilities. Reveal true configuration. What the Council had dismissed as primitive resource extraction operations throughout the asteroid belt suddenly transformed. Massive structures that had masqueraded as mining equipment reconfigured themselves, revealing weapon systems that made their previous display of force look primitive. Those mining operations you so generously helped us optimize. Chen's voice carried a note of satisfaction. They were weapons factories, building and hiding our real fleet piece by piece, right under your sensors. From behind asteroids, within dimensional pockets, and emerging from camouflaged hangars built into the very rocks themselves, humanity's true military force revealed itself. Ships that dwarfed anything the Council had yet seen took up strategic positions throughout the solar system. By the first light, one of Zixtal's officers breathed. Their entire civilization, everything they showed us, was exactly what we wanted you to see, Chen finished. Every technological advancement we shared, every cultural exchange we participated in, every treaty we signed, all carefully calculated to create a specific impression. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden infrastructure activated. Quantum communication arrays buried in Mercury's polar craters, antimatter production facilities disguised as atmospheric processors on Venus, faster-than-light inhibitor fields masked as Jupiter's research stations. Your invasion fleet is now operating in an environment we've spent centuries preparing, Chen continued. Every cubic kilometer of this solar system has been engineered to serve our defense. Those tourist facilities on Mars, artillery platforms, the Europa Research Station, a quantum battlefield control center, even the space debris you've been cataloging. Every piece is part of our defensive network. To demonstrate, clouds of apparent space junk suddenly came alive, revealing themselves as drone swarms that began systematically disrupting Council formations. In her command center, Admiral Chen opened a secure quantum channel to all human forces. All units, execute final revelation protocols. Show them everything. Throughout the solar system, humanity's full military might emerge from hiding. Ships appeared from dimensional pockets within dimensional pockets, layers of deception peeling away to reveal the true extent of human preparation. 3,000 years of peace made you complacent. Chen addressed Zixtal directly. You forgot the most dangerous predator is the one that watches, learns, and waits for the perfect moment to strike. Humanity never forgot. We just got better at hiding it. The Council fleet found itself surrounded, outgunned, and trapped within a battlefield that had been carefully prepared for centuries. Every tactic they attempted had been anticipated. Every technology they deployed was countered before they could use it. They had come expecting to find a primitive species playing at galactic politics. Instead, they had walked into the trap of a civilization that had spent generations preparing for this exact moment. And humanity was just getting started. In the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council, now convened on Earth's terms, High Counselor Zixtal's crystalline form had lost much of its former luster. The being who had once commanded the most powerful civilization in known space now sat across from Admiral Chen, watching as humanity's representatives systematically dismantle 3,000 years of galactic orthodoxy. "Let's be clear," Chen said, her voice carrying through the chamber's quantum acoustics. "Humanity doesn't want war. We never did. What we want is acknowledgement of a simple truth. The old order is over." Behind her, a holographic display showed the full extent of human technological achievement. Not the carefully curated version they'd shown the galaxy, but their true capabilities. The council representatives watched in stunned silence as centuries of human deception were finally revealed. "Your entire understanding of Earth was based on what we chose to show you," Dr. James Wong explained, standing beside a quantum interface that made council technology look primitive. "Those primitive satellites, quantum-linked sensor arrays, our basic AI research, actually quantum consciousness transfer systems, even our children's entertainment contained encrypted military protocols." "But why?" Zixtal asked, their voice carrying genuine bewilderment. "Why maintain such an elaborate deception?" Admiral Chen's expression softened slightly. "Because humanity learned something from our own history that the Council never understood. True peace doesn't come from superior force. It comes from mutual respect." In orbit above Earth, the combined fleets of humanity and the Council hung in space, a stark visual representation of the power shift that had occurred. But instead of humanity's ships maintaining aggressive positions, they were already beginning to stand down, returning to their hidden dimensional pockets. "We could continue this demonstration," Chen continued. "We could show you the quantum terraforming systems hidden beneath Mars' surface, or the temporal observation posts disguised as Kuiper belt objects. We could reveal how every piece of technology we shared with you contained hidden weaknesses we could exploit. But that's not the point." Commander Lisa Zhao stepped forward, activating a new holographic display. "This is our proposal for a new galactic order. Not one based on dominance, but on genuine cooperation. We've proven we can destroy your civilization. Now let us prove we can help build a better one." The display showed a comprehensive plan for galactic reorganization, new trade routes, technological exchange protocols, and defense arrangements. But unlike the Council's system, this one was built on genuine partnership rather than enforced peace. "You've maintained peace through superior power for 3,000 years, Chen said. "We're offering something different. Peace through mutual understanding. Yes, humanity has spent centuries preparing for war, but we spent even longer preparing for what comes after." Around the chamber, other species representatives began to show signs of interest. Many had chafed under the Council's benevolent oversight for millennia. The prospect of a new system, one where technological advancement wasn't controlled by a single power, held undeniable appeal. "Consider this," Dr. Wong added. "Everything we've revealed, every capability we've demonstrated, they're all defensive in nature. We built a military that could resist any invasion, developed technology that could counter any threat. But we never, not once, designed weapons of conquest." Zixtal's form shifted, showing the first signs of understanding. "You weren't preparing for war. You were preparing to prevent it." "Exactly," Chen confirmed. "Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our deception. It's our ability to learn from history. Every empire that relied solely on military might eventually fail. But civilizations that build on mutual respect, that find strength in diversity, they endure." The quantum screens around the chamber began displaying new information. Technological breakthroughs humanity had kept hidden, scientific discoveries that could benefit all species, medical advancements that could save countless lives across the galaxy. "This is our real gift to the galaxy," Chen declared. "Not the weapons we've hidden or the technology we've disguised, but the knowledge we've gained. 3,000 years of enforced peace taught the galaxy to fear advancement. We're offering the chance to embrace it instead." As the council representatives began discussing the implications, Admiral Chen walked to a window overlooking Earth. Somewhere down there, in countless hidden facilities and secret installations, humanity was already beginning to power down its war machinery. The weapons would remain, carefully maintained and hidden. Humanity hadn't survived this long by being careless, but their purpose would change. "You know," she said to Zixtel, who had approached silently, "there's an old human saying, si vis pacem, para bellum. If you want peace, prepare for war. But we've added our own corollary. If you want lasting peace, prepare for what comes after." The crystalline being's form shimmered with what might have been appreciation. Perhaps humanity's greatest deception was convincing us you were primitive, when in fact you were simply wise. Chen smiled. "No, counselor. Our greatest deception was waiting until we could show you the difference between power and strength. Now shall we begin discussing how to build something better than 3,000 years of peace through fear?" Above them, Earth's sun rose over a